The number of education is decreasing because they study here but spend their working years abroad. In effect, the state of the country is not improving because people who have potentials are working for other countries. We are experiencing a crisis of education because 95% of Filipino students attend public schools. The government treats this as a problem because of lack of resources for education in the Philippines. The crisis divides the rich and the poor. Because of the high tuition fees, people who cannot afford to send their children to private schools are forced to send them to public schools. This causes a mentality that poor students study in public schools while rich students study in private schools. There is a lack of classrooms and teachers. The budget of the government for education is about 1 trillion pesos. But because of some corrupt government officials, the money is not spent the right way. There are only a few resources of many students. In many public schools, about 100 students study in one classroom, with 2 to 3 students sharing a chair and some seated on the floor, and they have to share school supplies like notebooks and textbooks. Only a few students are given a chance to go to school. There is a limit of students who can study in schools because of the overpopulation. Many students don't get a chance to study. Oplan Balik Eskwela. DepEd will submit a list of private schools and public places. This is to let parents know about the school and encourage them to enroll their children in the school. Creation of Nation of Task Force on School Sites titling. They will manage the records and the ownership of the school site. This will help improve the system of public schools and avoid further problems. School visitation, inspection, and monitoring. Those who are appointed by the government to visit schools will observe and record the performances of the school. Utilization and liquidation of school-based repair and maintenance scheme. The department will allocate funds for an effective maintenance and repair of school facilities. The DepEd will have a contract program that will help students from poor families to study in private secondary schools. One of the major problems that is encountered is probably the lack of good teachers, materials, and other things that are related to that. It could be lessened if only the government do their part properly, especially DepEd. There is corruption in the government that keeps students from learning in school instead of spending money for the betterment of the school. For example, they spend it for their own selfish reasons. Also, some teachers don't get enough money from their allowance and are sometimes not respected. Some schools don't provide the best meal for students. Problems. Brain drain, mishandling of the government. Solution. Weigh what values the most, electing better leaders. Problems. Low funds, lack of knowledge of public teachers. Solution. Donate books. Participate well on our AK activities, especially this year in public school teaching.